Hello everybody, welcome back to that Tech Enthusiast podcast, and today I'm going to be talking about some tech news, and I'm also going to be talking about how much it costs to replace or repair a folding smartphone screen. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so let's just get straight into it. So, on the first episode, I talked a bit about leaks about the Galaxy Z, and most of them were true, in the ones I talked about anyway. And, however, I did watch, like I said in the previous episode, Jerry-Rig Everything durability test on the Galaxy Z Flip, and it turns out the screen is not made of glass, despite it being very clearly marketed as being made of glass, and that they have somehow done the impossible and bent glass, even though they haven't, because it scratches literally with your fingernail, so it's not glass. You can't tell people that it's glass, because they will think it's glass, and they won't expect that they won't expect that your fingernail's going to make a dent in it. Or not a dent, like a scratch. I just think it's really bad that they're marketing it that way. And it's like, even on the front, like when you first turn it on, I think during the setup, it literally says, "Be careful not to press too hard." And I just think this is bad. They are advertising their phone. I know I've already said this, but it is bad that they're advertising it to have a glass screen when it's just not made of glass, and it's kind of annoying me, to be honest. Like, I don't understand why it just doesn't make sense. Like, maybe it's some sort of hybrid, that's what Jerry-Rig Everything said, or I don't know. It would be interesting to see what Samsung have to say. So far I haven't heard anything about this, about what they have to say. But this comes on to the next thing I was going to talk about is... Oh yeah, actually, no, just before we do that. So, the rest of the durability test, it was fairly decent for a folding phone. The screen, I think it was going to be very hard for people to accidentally peel off the screen, like they did on the Galaxy Fold. I think, yeah, the back did shatter, because it's made of glass. The one thing that is actually made of glass. Yeah, so that did shatter eventually. But the phone still worked after everything, so I think that means it survived the durability test. But anyway, how much does it cost to repair or replace a folding display? So I've just got a comparison of a few of the different folding phones. So I've got the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip, and this is all in dollars because that's just the easiest way I could find it. So the Galaxy Z Flip, $499 for the main display, and just $99 for the mini, really small, kind of pointless display on the back, which I'll talk about afterwards. The Samsung Galaxy Fold, if you bought I think this is only happening in the US, but if you bought your Galaxy Fold before December the 31st, then you've got this Galaxy Fold Premier service thing, where you get $149 to replace the screen, instead of full price if you did not buy it before then, $6,000. So, pretty expensive, and that was according to Business Insider. The Huawei Mate X, I had no idea that even launched, but apparently it has, only in China, presumably because it doesn't have Android on it, or Google things. $1,010 if you convert it from the Chinese currency. I can never say it, so I'm not even going to attempt. And then the Motorola Razr, $299. So, these things obviously cost a lot to replace, and they cost a lot to buy. I just think overall it adds up, and it's not really worth it. I just don't think it's worth buying a folding phone at this point in time until we can get more durable actual folding glass phones. Because, I mean, they're very much still in development, I think. Samsung are the only company that's made 2 folding phones that I'm aware of, or, okay, the only major company. And then the rest have all made 1 or none. So, we're still very much in the beginnings, and I would not really recommend buying this unless you have the money to replace it, and replace a screen and stuff like that. Or maybe you just think that you're really good at not getting your screen broken. I don't know. But the fact that it breaks on fingernails, that's kind of annoying. But there is a new type of folding phone. So TCL is apparently, they've shown off lots of concepts of different ways they can fold phones and do things with displays to make your phone bigger, like the folding tablet experience. And apparently they're rumoured to make, so it slides instead of fold. They're rumoured to make a phone that slides instead of folds. So I'm pretty sure it was them that made a phone where it had a keyboard, and the keyboard kind of slid out from underneath it. It's that same thing, but instead of a keyboard, it's another screen. And by the looks of the photos, it's all one screen. So I think this is probably, if they can do it, this is a better approach than the way Samsung did it with the Galaxy Fold. I feel like this might work better than the Galaxy Fold. It is apparently based off of the TLC 10 Pro, and they both look very similar to the S10. So that's definitely interesting, and I'm intrigued to see what they do there, if they can do it. But this could be a step in the right direction to making folding displays. I mean, technically this isn't folding, it's like a sliding display, so it should be easier. That means that in theory they could make the screen out of glass. Although they would have to be careful about it like scratching on the back, I guess. But would that be a problem? Probably not. I think the hardest part, well, actually no. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the hinge would probably be the hardest part. I think the display and the durability would be fine on the actual display on the screen, because they could make it out of glass. I don't see any reason why they couldn't, because it's just like one of those old slidey phones. It's just like that, except for the entire thing's a screen. So I'm excited, and maybe budget. Maybe it could be like the first sort of folding display that's a little bit more nicer on your wallet. Maybe not. We'll see. Right, so moving on, completely away from folding phones, completely away from phones, because I know I've talked a lot about phones. The new Windows 10 update that deletes files. Not gonna lie, not the best thing to have. Not the best feature to add to a Windows update. So this sort of stuff has happened before with Windows updates just giving lots of bugs as normal, and they've done it again. So this time the update was meant to give it security improvements, but deleted people's files instead. There is also a potential problem that it will reset any customization you have done to your start menu and your taskbar. And it just seems to be like this seems to be something that's always happening, like commonly reoccurring. Don't know what I was trying to say there. Yeah, it seems to be reoccurring quite a lot with Windows updates just not always working. Not always doing what they're meant to do, I guess. Deleting people's files, that's a common one that I've seen a lot. Because I go on the news basically, to find shows. To find shows, what? To find topics that I can talk about. And I'm always seeing loads of like Windows 10 update, blah blah blah. And like this time I was just like, you know what, fine, let's cover it, because why not? So yeah, here we are. But yeah, this happens a lot. Now, I have not experienced any problems, and my question is, if you save your files onto Google Drive or onto OneDrive, which I have done, I've got OneDrive. No, for this show I use Google Drive. I downloaded Backup and Sync because it gives you a similar experience to OneDrive, where it's still like in File Explorer, File Manager, whatever it's called. And then for my personal files I use OneDrive. So my question is, will it delete those files? If it's like in File Explorer, can it delete the files that you saved in the cloud? Presumably not, but you never know. I mean, you'd think that it wouldn't delete files. I mean, didn't I talk about that other Windows 10 bug? No, Windows 7 bug, where it just didn't let you shut down. That's a weird bug. But yeah, Windows 10 bugs, yay. I don't know whether I'm on the version, by the way. I might be on that Windows version. I think I did update actually, so I probably am on the newest version. But yeah, I'm fine, because especially on the recording laptop, I don't have anything saved on here that isn't in cloud, isn't in Google Drive. On my main laptop, I guess the only thing I could think of that it could delete is things like anything. Well, I wonder if it deletes entire folders. I'd presume so. It just says files, so it probably means it does delete folders, and you'd assume all the stuff inside the folder would also be deleted. And I'd also guess that you can't find it in recycle bin either. What are you meant to do when that happens though? Like, you can't really do anything to stop it apart from downgrading, which I don't even know how you do downgrade a version of Windows. So, you know, I haven't experienced it, and hopefully I won't. The only thing I really have saved on my actual computer, on the hard drive or SSD, is program files for apps, because all of my files I just save in OneDrive. All the ones that I don't like, all the ones that aren't program files. But anyway, moving on. Oh wait, no. Forgot to talk about something. I saw a concept for Windows 11, and also a version of Windows designed for the 2 folding screens laptop. So, who was it? I'm pretty sure Lenovo did one, and Microsoft might have done one at CES, where they, obviously laptops normally fold, but instead of there being a keyboard, there's just another screen. So it's basically like a giant tablet that folds. So obviously that's quite interesting. I saw a concept for a version of Windows that is designed for those types of laptops. Just checking what time we're on. Okay, 13 minutes. Cool. Unlucky number though. So yeah, and the concept was interesting. Something which it talked about is not having legacy UIs. So things like, I'm assuming that includes things like control panels. So like in Windows 10, when you go, I guess control panel's a good example. When I bought this mic, I had to go to control panel to go to the sound settings to change the default input device, and yeah, just legacy UIs, because obviously it wasn't in settings, or there might have even been 2. I think there was one in settings and one in control panel, which does not really make sense. But yeah, no legacy UIs. That's good, because I don't know, it kind of annoys me when it's like the settings, but then you go into settings, you try to change the settings, then it opens up in a different window, and it's like what would be called a legacy UI. So yeah, I'm happy about that. I also saw one for Windows 11. I don't know really what to say about it. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say about Windows 11 because I haven't made any notes on it. There just isn't a lot to talk about in that respect of Windows 11. What else? So, Intel, they mostly do processors, are making a graphics card. But not like, so they already make discrete graphics, onboard graphics, whatever, they already make discrete / onboard graphics anyway, which, I don't know, sometimes are decent. I know on this computer, on this laptop, I think I'm using the onboard, well, I'm using onboard graphics, and I presume it's Intel. This is interesting though, because they're making a actual graphics card, you know, like an Nvidia RTX, but it's a graphics card. So you'd assume the reason they're doing this, like most companies launch a new product, the reason is generally the same, it's to make money. But let's just think about the competition. Nvidia and AMD are probably going to be like the main competition for in graphics cards. Nvidia are definitely kind of owning that market right now. I mean, like, AMD are doing well on their processors compared to Intel, and then Nvidia are doing well on their graphics cards compared to AMD. It now just means that Intel are going to be included in that, and this is going to be interesting because I really don't know whether it will be good. There are a lot of things that could happen with this. If it's decent, if it's a decent price, and it's a decent, if it's a decent price and a decent gaming experience, then I intend with my brother to build a computer near our birthdays and Christmas, so that we can get all the parts for our birthday and Christmas, for our birthdays and Christmas. If it's decent, I will put it in that PC and I will tell you what it's like. But I will look at reviews first. I'm not just going to buy it because I kind of don't want to waste my money. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is Samsung doing an AirDrop. Now, the reason I am talking about this is, first of all, I am a Samsung user, but also Google are doing an AirDrop, or a version of AirDrop, for Android. And so I'm just like, kind of confused as to why Samsung are also working on one, and I know other phone manufacturers that use Android are also working on their own. So most people will probably know what AirDrop is, but I'll just do a quick explanation, hopefully. So AirDrop is kind of like, you can send files, and I'm pretty sure it uses Bluetooth. You can send files to any Apple device, so iPhone, iPad, iPod, Mac, MacBook, iMac, whatever, any Apple device, and you send files. I think it's just photos and videos, but it might be any type of files. I don't know, because I have not used iOS in a while, and the only iOS device that I own is on iOS 12 because it can't be updated to 13. So, you know, that's kind of annoying. But anyway, Google are making one, but Samsung have decided to make one as well. And I don't like where this is going, because it could mean less kind of compatibility. So if Google make one and put it into Android, then chances are you'll be able to use it to any Android phone, so you'll be able to like airdrop files to any Android phone. Whereas if Samsung do it, or any other phone manufacturer, if they make their own and don't use the Android one, then it will mean like less compatibility. So like I'd imagine that you'd only be able to send to a Samsung device from a Samsung device if Samsung use their own. The other thing is what happens if there are two versions of AirDrop equivalent. So there's the Android one and then there's the Samsung one. So, you know, that's interesting. Maybe it could be, I guess, maybe it could be a temporary one until it's added into Android, because Samsung just want it added in, because maybe lots of people want it, but that wouldn't really make too much sense to me. Like, I don't really understand why. You know, I feel like Samsung should just, if that is the reason, then Samsung should totally just wait for it to be added into Android, because, you know, Samsung take ages to update their phones to the latest version of Android anyway, and I think they're getting better at it, but still. You know, this is an interesting one, because I don't really know a lot of people that use AirDrop that often, because there are things like WhatsApp, and like, it's just one extra step using WhatsApp, so most people just do it. I know my parents have iOS devices and they never use it. You know, my mum takes photos of us when we're out, and, you know, she doesn't AirDrop them to my dad. I mean, to be honest, she doesn't always WhatsApp them either, but, you know, I just don't think that Samsung needs to make one when Android are already getting one. Not really necessary. But yeah, guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. What time are we on? So yeah, I think that's pretty much all we've got time for. Thanks for listening / watching, and I will see you in the next one, I guess. And this time I'm going to end it when I say bye, because if you heard last episode, you will know that I accidentally pressed the wrong button and did not end it. Kind of embarrassing. This time I'm actually going to end it. Goodbye. Oh, I pressed the wrong button again. Goodbye. I'm going to have to cut that bit out now, or I might just leave it in.